Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. Earlier last year, we played Swordhaven Iron Conspiracy. I had a fantastic time with the game. It allowed me to play as a noble who basically went around slapping the crap out of just about everybody he met. The dialogue was really cool, and some of the systems that it has looks interesting as well. Now, for those who don't know, this is from Atom RPG, the same team that made the Atom RPG a couple of years ago, which was very similar in style to Fallout. I never played that game, but people really highly recommended it, said it was a great time. And so when Swordhaven came out, I figured I'd go ahead and give it a whirl. Since I enjoyed trying out early access so much, I think I'm going to continue to follow their Kickstarter and the updates that come out so that we can look forward to the full release. So definitely keep checking back here if you want more updates regarding the game, and let me know if there's any additional content regarding the game that you would like to see. So once again, the Atom team is planning to release a February update for Swordhaven. It's supposed to be towards the end of February. So this is going to go over them in detail. First and foremost, they highlighted their game balance and weapon techniques. Weapons from the initial ones you start with to craftable and higher tier weapons found throughout the world have received a significant overhaul. So now halberds hit hard but can only strike once per turn. Knives are the quickest, albeit weakest, and they have bleeding potential. Staves and mauls offer a variety of defensive fighting options, etc., etc. Seems like they're doing a lot of work to differentiate all the different weapons and allow you to create different builds based on the type of weapons you're using. That's really cool. And the way these armors and weapons look is much more distinctive than what I remember them being when we went through early access last year. So looks like visually as well, the early access is going to get an overhaul. Ranged weapons are also going to receive a lot of care, making the hassle of always requiring ammo worth it through improved damage potentials and range. And then this gives us a look at even more of the armors that they plan to use. Again, looks much more detailed and distinctive than what I remember seeing in early access before. So seems like Atom RPG is hard as work. It's really good to see. By the way, I don't see anything regarding a release date, unfortunately, in this update. So it's still not clear when we're actually going to get the full version of Swordhaven. Now, they mentioned that craftable weapons, shields, armors, and items you have previously witnessed in a rather undercooked state are now balanced out, making crafting much more viable, and the interface changes should make the process smooth. I barely touched crafting when I was in early access because it didn't feel fleshed out and it didn't feel worth my time. In fact, they mentioned later that potions are definitely still a work in progress, so that part shouldn't be touched, but it's good to know at least for those of you joining into the early access, crafting gear should be much more viable at this stage. Another interesting change is that they noted all skills will feature a default 100% chance to hit against an enemy with 0% resistance. So you will only have to worry about 1 to hit dice roll instead of 2 when performing a weapon technique. It was kind of interesting seeing the dice roll to whether or not you can hit and how much damage you were going to do. So it will be interesting to see how different it feels when I jump back into early access, probably sometime later on this year. Now, they also mentioned shields, armors, and jackets have been revamped for the upcoming update with new higher blocking chance percentages and stamina debuffs. They will now represent a trade-off between defense and mobility. Both of them will provide their own unique bonuses and will feature their own flaws. Healing has also received an upgrade based on suggestions from the community. Now the amount you heal operates on a spectrum with both maximum and minimum amounts influenced by your skill. Now, in addition to the balancing changes for your weapons and gear, new locations will be added with the update that's coming later this month. They will be adding the first legendary weapon master to the game, and its secluded Woodland Hermitage is just one of several locations they have in mind. You will finally get to visit the outskirts of Swordhaven, two major locations that are home to a tavern, numerous market stalls, an ore foundry, and of course, a blooming conflict that your character will have the opportunity to resolve or exacerbate. So I went through about maybe 8 to 10 hours of the early access. I didn't get through a lot of the outskirts content. So when I revisit this game later on this year, what I'll probably do is try to play through a bunch of the stuff that we had already played on the channel before, and then get straight into some of this more out of the way stuff where we're facing more humans and get more of that content that we hadn't arrived at yet during my playthrough. In this new part of the country, you will get to fight Feather Beast, evil snapping turtles, and a larger variety of human enemies with new tactics and more complex AI behavior patterns, such as proper patrolling of areas, calling for help, and more. All of that is on an expanded pool of new random maps. I don't know why it says random maps. I didn't feel like any of the content I played through was random, so I don't know if that's supposed to be a part of Swordhaven, that it randomly generates what map you see when you enter certain dungeons. I definitely would appreciate more explanation on that. Maybe there's a feature in regards to this game that I'm just not aware of. And then finally, they mentioned they're working on some tweaks and quality of life improvements. So they're planning to add features such as better inventory sorting buttons and NPC name highlighting. The locations that you can see in the current version of the game will also receive some attention before the update hits. They are working on a range of improvements, including visual upgrades for villages and dungeons, adjustment to loot spots, the addition of new enemy encounters on the maps, and the expansion of some NPC dialogues. So, it's obvious Adam RPG is definitely hard at work. Like I said before, I had a blast with this game. Really enjoyed my experience. Obviously, I mentioned the Noble, but there were several different options, and it seemed like being able to actually role play was a strong point of the game. They really want to add some things you could put in right at character creation that'll get you in a certain mindset and allow you to play exactly the type of character you want to play. Obviously, you all already know those type of games are right up my alley, so I'm all for it. Absolutely plan to play this game. I'm hoping we're going to get it this year, but again, it's not clear at all. Maybe they plan to stay in early access for a couple of years before we finally get the full release. But this, along with New Arc Line, are definitely two major indie CRPGs that I plan to play when they come out. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I hope you all enjoy this video. Take care.